Today's club that we're going to learn about is from Peru. They're called Universitario de Deportes, or commonly just known as Universitario, or nicknames La U or Los Cremas after the cream color of their jerseys, which has a cool backstory to it, which we're going to cover in a little bit. This club is playing in its 100th year, seeing as they were founded in 1924. This is their home kit from this season, 2023. It's made by Marathon, as you can see on the left there, and their badge, nice, simple, straightforward U in a dark red. That dark red being a way that we get towards that cream color in that story coming in a little bit. On the back at the top, you can see De Nacimiento 1924 for their birth year. This club from the capital city of Lima is the most successful in the country, primarily for two reasons. The first being the amount of titles, 26 in the Primera Division in the country. That's one ahead of their arch rivals, Alianza Lima. Second, they were the first ever Peruvian club to make it to the final of the Copa Libertadores. They did that in 1972, losing to Independiente from Argentina. There's only one other club in the country that has ever done that. Let me know if you know who it is. This club plays in an absolutely massive stadium. It's the second biggest in all of South America. It's called the Estadio Monumental. It's just about 23 years old now, I believe, and it looks a lot like Lambeau Field. So if you're a Green Bay Packers fan, you might feel a little bit at home here. Has that same kind of bowl shape with vertical box seats going all the way around with that front window facing. The club's biggest rival, as I mentioned, is Alianza Lima, also from the capital city, second most successful club in the country, and the two compete what amounts to the Super Clasico in Peru, biggest match of the season across their league. They've been rivals since their first match in 1928 was a very violent one. Alianza had 5 players red carded in that match, meaning it had to be abandoned about 10 minutes from time. While the rivalry with Alianza is the big one for this club, they do hold a couple more competitive rivalries with other clubs like Deportivo Municipal, Sporting Cristal, and Sport Boys. And finally, the fun story about how they got this cream color. Originally, this team played in all white. Back in the day, they had a match, but their laundry hadn't come back just yet, so they didn't have jerseys to play in. They called down to the laundromat, asked them to hurry it up, and they did, meaning they forgot to take the badge off of the kid at that time, so this red bled into the all-white, giving you a yellowish cream color. They had no chance but to play in the jerseys that day. They won that match, plus a string more after that, and they thought, this must be lucky. Here we are 100 years later, still in cream. With Universitario being one of the best clubs in the country, that means a lot of the best Peruvian talent has come through here. So let's start with a couple former players. First name always has to be Teodoro Fernandez, nicknamed Lolo, also known as El Canonero. He was a great striker for the club, all-time leading scorer. For Peru, he helped them win their first ever Copa America title in 1939. He has the distinct honor of having his club number retired here, and that number is 9. That is a number almost no club around the planet will retire. So that tells you how important this man was to this club. Second player to mention, also played for the club his entire career, also has his number retired there, number 22, Jose Luis Carranza. He's a midfielder for the club and for the Peruvian national team. He retired in 2004, having won the title in the country with the club 7 different times. And a more modern name to mention here, especially if you're an MLS fan, is the Flea, Raul Ruidiaz, who plays as a striker at Seattle Sounders now. He started his career with Universitario in their youth system, playing for the club 3 different stretches before landing in Seattle. Okay, into their current squad to take a look at the key young players, as well as just most important players they have for the club at the moment. Starting on the right side of their attack, right winger, Andy Polo. Clausura tournament has already started in the country so far. He has 3 assists, delivering from that side of the pitch. The second name to know is Edison Flores. He's kind of a left-sided midfielder for them. He already has 3 goals within the tournament for them. And finally, to bring out one of these young Peruvian talents I want you to look out for, Piero Quispe is 22 years old. As a midfielder, he kind of has the same build as Ruidiaz, even though he plays a little further back. This is a name and a man to look out for. So that's your rundown on Universitario de Deportes. Just call him Universitario or La U. This is one of Peru's finest clubs. They haven't had the better century than their rivals Alianza Lima, but the season has started out quite well in the Clausura tournament for them. They're hoping to get back on top in their country.